cross your legs, or you can sit on your legs like this using a pillow or a block, whatever's comfortable. And just arrive here in this moment, placing your hands on your knees, just closing your eyes, and just becoming aware of your breath. Noticing if it's shallow or deep, not trying to change it or control it, just noticing. Sitting up nice and tall here, relaxing our shoulders, our neck and spine are long. And just taking a few moments here to quiet our minds. Maybe you want to set an intention for yourself for this practice, whatever that is for you. Remembering to always listen to your body throughout the practice. And opening your eyes, we're going to start with a little breathing exercise. So you can listen to me explain it first, and then you can do it because it involves blocking your ears. So just want you to hear me first. So we're going to bring our hands up like this and use our thumbs to block our ears. And we're going to breathe in through our mouths. And then we're going to cover our eyes with our ears at the same time as you're blocking your ears. I think I said the wrong word, but you know what I mean. And then on our exhale, we're going to hum with our mouth, keeping our mouth closed. So inhaling through our nose, and then on our exhale, as we have our ears closed and eyes closed, we're going to hum through our mouths. And just going at your own pace, keeping your ears and your eyes covered for the duration of the practice, and do 5 rounds of breath on your own time. So beginning, blocking your ears with your thumbs, placing your hands over your eyes, inhaling through the nose, and humming it out. And when you're done, placing your hands back on your knees. And we will begin with our first pose. So coming into a seated position on your sit bones if you're not already there. And we're gonna take our right hand and place it on the ground next to our right hip. If you wanna go lower, you can drop onto your elbow or staying on that right hand. And we're just gonna reach our left arm up and over beside our ear, reaching through the side body, making sure our sit bones are planted onto the ground. And then we're just gonna bring our arm forward, keeping our palm facing down all the way out to the side, and then bring it back up, moving nice and slow here. Feeling the stretch. One more time over the head. And coming back to center, switching sides, so placing your left hand on the ground next to your left hip, or coming down to that elbow, reaching your right arm over that ear. Making sure you're lifting your chest here. And then drop the arm, keeping the palm facing down. Going nice and slow. One more time. Reaching over our ear and coming back to center. This time inhaling both of our arms over our head and exhale, folding forward here, hinging at the hips and coming down as far as comfortable for you. Letting the head hang here and breathing, starting to come into that ujjayi breath. So breathing in and out through our nose, keeping our lips closed and constricting the back of our throats on our exhale. And walking slowly back up to the center. We're going to bring our legs out and place our feet onto the ground, bringing them pretty wide, wider than the hips. And then we're going to drop both of our knees to the right side, just letting them fall naturally to the side. Taking our left hand, placing it on our right knee, and our right hand behind our backs for a nice twist here. Looking over that right shoulder behind you. Making sure the spine is nice and lengthened here. And slowly coming back to center, switching sides, dropping the knees to the left side. Taking your right hand, placing it on your left knee, and your left hand behind your hips. And twisting at the torso. Spine is long here. And coming back to center, straightening your legs out in front of you. Coming into a seated position here. Nice and long spine here, sitting tall, shoulders are relaxed. Inhaling our arms up. And exhale, folding forward, leading with the chest, grabbing as far as you can, maybe your shins or your feet. Bending the knees as much as you need to here. And letting the head drop here. So relaxing the neck. Keeping our toes active for a more intense stretch behind our legs. Remembering to breathe. And inhale slowly, rolling back up to center. Crossing our legs, placing our hands in front of us, coming into a tabletop position. So stacking our hips right on top of our knees, our shoulders are over our wrists, our back is flat, core pulled in, neck is neutral, looking a few inches in front of your hands. And we're going to come into some cat and cows. So inhaling, dropping our bellies, lifting our chin and our chest. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, navel pulls into spine. Inhale as we drop our bellies, lifting our chest and our tailbone. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, belly drops, chest lifts. Exhale, rounding the spine. Coming back to a neutral position, we're going to bring our hips to our left side while we look over our right shoulder. And coming back to the center, going to the other side, so bringing our hips to the right as we look over our left shoulder. And going back and forth here on your own breath. Just teasing out our spine here. And coming back to center, we're going to do some circles with our tailbone. So just using your tailbone and drawing some circles. Remembering to switch directions. And just exploring here, whatever feels good in your body. Now we're going to bring our toes to touch and bringing our knees a little bit wider. We're going to do a few more cat and cows like this. So inhaling, dropping the belly, lift the chest. And exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, round the spine. One more time, inhaling here. Exhale, round the spine. Pressing our hips back, finding our child's pose. So sinking our hips down, walking out our hands, letting our chest hang heavy here. Our forehead can rest on the ground. And remembering to breathe here. Settling in, finding your pose. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe placing a block or pillow under your hips. Or bringing the knees in closer to your chest. Whatever's comfortable. We're going to walk our fingertips over to our left side, bringing the right palm on top of our left hand for a nice side body stretch here. And walking our fingertips over to the right side, bringing the left palm on top of the right hand. And letting the chest hang heavy here. Walking the fingertips back to center. Lifting up back onto our knees, tucking the toes here and lifting our hips, coming into down dog. So spreading our fingertips wide, pressing the palms into the ground, sending our hips up and back. We're externally rotating the upper arms, bringing the shoulders down into our back, and drawing the heels down towards the ground. And beginning to bend one knee and then the other, walking out the dog here. Maybe dropping our heels from side to side, just playing around and finding whatever feels good to wake up your body. And then finding some stillness, gazing in between our toes. And taking a few breaths here, noticing how your body feels, where there's sensation. Just noticing it without judging. And slowly walking our feet one by one, walking all the way up to our hands. Coming into a forward fold. So letting your upper body hang heavy here. Your neck should be released. Grabbing opposite elbows. Bending your knees as much as possible here. As much as you need to. Maybe swaying side to side. Or just keeping still. A few more breaths here. And then releasing our elbows and slowly rolling all the way up, coming up to standing. So meeting at the top of our mats, coming into Tadasana. So feet can be hip width distance apart or closer, making sure our hips are stacked above our knees or shoulders above our hips, palms facing front, chin lifted here, chest open. And just arriving here, taking a few breaths. We're going to walk out our feet a little bit, bringing them out to the edge of your mat, pointing our toes outward a little bit, bringing our hands to heart center, and we're going to drop down into Malasana. So just finding your pose here, maybe staying on the balls of your feet or dropping your heels, maybe coming onto one foot and then the other, shaking it out here, using a block to sit on if you need to, just finding your variation. And then settling into the center, placing the left hand on the in front of your left foot, using your elbow pushing against your left inner thigh, and inhaling, our right arm lifts up for a nice stretch, maybe coming into a bind here, or just lifting, breathing here, and exhale, coming back to center, placing your right hand in front of your right foot, elbow on the inside of our leg. Inhaling, our left arm reaches to the sky. Again, finding your variation here, lifting the chest. And exhale, finding Malasana, bringing our hands to our chest, pushing out our knees here. Spine is lifted. And exhale, placing our hands on the ground, extending our legs, finding our forward fold again. This time, placing our left fingertips on the ground, bending into that left knee to open up our right side, reaching up to the sky, really bending into that left knee, planting those left fingertips and opening up here. Exhale, bringing the hand back down, bending into our right knee this time, planting those right fingertips and opening up our left side. Breathing here. And exhale, coming down to a forward fold. Inhaling, rolling all the way back up to standing. Coming to the top of our mats. Feet together this time. Finding our Tadasana. Inhaling, our arms reach over our head. Exhale, folding down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. So our chest is lifted here, shoulders are down and back into our backs. Our tailbone is sending to the back of the room while our crown of our head is reaching forward. Hands can be on shins, the floor, or a block. And exhale, forward fold here. One more time, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, stepping your feet back, finding a high plank position. Making sure our shoulders are over our wrists, heels over the toes, and making sure our butt is not up in the air or letting it sag, but nice and pulled into the center, using our core. Holding here for a few breaths. Gazing a few inches in front of our fingers. And shifting our weight forward a little bit to lower ourselves all the way down to the ground. Placing our hands underneath our shoulders, our elbows hug into the sides of our bodies. Pressing into our legs and our feet. Inhaling, lifting our chest, pressing into the ground. Our shoulders are down in our backs, lifting the chest here. Core is engaged. And exhale, lower back down. One more time like that. Inhale, lifting our chest here, pushing into the mat. Exhale down. This time, bringing our hands down lower to our ribs, coming to upward facing dog, or sticking with cobra, that is perfectly fine, or finding our up dog, so planting the backs of our feet into the ground, lifting up onto our hands and our feet, inhaling here, and then exhale, pushing ourselves back into downward facing dog. Good job, everybody. Breathing here, finding our down dog. Spreading those fingertips wide. We're going to inhale our right leg up to the ceiling and roll open our hip here, making sure our chest is still square to the ground, stacking the hips, bringing the heel to our butt, the knee towards the sky, and sending it through, stepping in between our hands, dropping the back knee here, coming into our low lunge, so staying on those fingertips, planting the left hand on the ground, and inhale, reaching our right arm up to the sky. And breathing here. And exhale, placing your hand on the inside of your front foot this time, opening up our knee a little bit, coming to the outside edge of our foot for our lizard pose. So staying on our fingertips or dropping down to our elbows or a block, finding your pose here. Maybe you want to wiggle the hips back and forth, doing whatever feels good. And just breathing here. And coming back to our fingertips and trying to lift the back leg up for a nice quad stretch and reaching back with that right hand. And if you can grab it, great. If not, just reach back for it as best you can. For a nice quad stretch here, opening up the chest. And releasing that, planting your hands around your front foot, stepping back into a plank position, lowering down all the way down to the ground, inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra, exhale, downward facing dog. This time, inhaling, our left leg lifts to the sky and rolling open that hip here, sending the heel to the butt. Maybe looking under that left armpit and stepping through our hands, dropping that back knee, making sure our knees are behind our toes here. This time, planting the right hand, opening up with our left arm, reaching to the side, and breathing here. And exhale, bringing our left hand on the inside of our left foot this time, staying on the hands, coming down to the elbows, finding your pose here, coming into lizard pose. Breathing here, letting go of the tension. coming back up into that low lunge, reaching back for our foot with our left arm, opening up the chest. Breathing here. And letting go of that leg, planting the hands around the front leg, stepping back, coming into chaturanga, so lowering all the way down, inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, always option to drop into child's pose if you need a rest. We're staying here, breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So getting ready to come into our next pose, we're going to step our right foot in between our hands, straightening that leg, stepping the back foot in a little bit, making sure our toes come to a 45-degree angle out this way, and just relaxing our upper bodies, folding over that front leg, coming into pyramid pose. So making sure our hips are squared here, making sure our legs are straight or as best you can, using a block here if you need to, and just dropping into that pyramid pose. Breathing here. Taking your left fingertips and placing them either in front of your toes or on the outside or the inside. Opening up our right arm, coming into a twist here. Revolved triangle pose. Using a block if you need, if you have one. Or even coming onto your shin if you need to. Breathing here. And exhale, planting our hands, stepping back into that high plank, lowering down, inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. A few breaths here, always come to child's pose if you need to. And then stepping that left leg in between the hands, straightening that leg, stepping the back foot in a couple of feet, toes pointed out to the side a little bit, hips are square, and relaxing over that front leg. Breathing here. And planting the right fingertips either in front of the toes, on the outside, inside, wherever feels best for you. And then peeling open that left arm, coming into a twist here. Option to put your hands on your shin or block, finding your variation. Breathing here, twisting out, letting everything go. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back into that plank position, lowering down, inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. And lowering down into child's pose here, so bringing our knees out wide, bringing our toes to touch, and letting our chest hang heavy on the ground. Coming back to our breaths here. Maybe thinking about that intention you set at the beginning of class, bringing that back into our minds, reminding ourselves why we are here. And slowly making our way back into downward facing dog. So tucking those toes and lifting the hips. And we're gonna walk our feet up to our hands again, coming into a forward fold here, and just taking our peace fingers and grabbing our big toes to pull ourselves deeper into the stretch, bending the knees as much as you need to here, letting the head hang here. And releasing those toes and rolling all the way back up to standing. And maybe shaking out the body here, finding our Tadasana again. So bringing our toes to touch, palms facing down. And on our inhale, we're gonna drop our hips down and back, making sure our knees are behind our toes here, sinking our hips. And we're gonna reach our arms up to lift our chest here, coming into our chair pose. So core is engaged here, shoulders are down in our backs. Bringing our hands to heart center, taking the left elbow, bringing it on the outside of our right knee, coming into a twist here. Making sure our knees stay in line and stay behind the toes. Maybe deepening the twist by opening up your arms. We're keeping our hands together. Sinking the hips down and back. And exhale, coming to forward fold, releasing those legs. And inhale, sinking those hips back down, bringing our hands to our heart center again, lifting through our chest, taking the right elbow this time, bringing it, hooking it on the outside of the left knee to twist here. Opening up our arms. We're keeping them here. And exhale, forward fold, releasing those legs, bending one knee and then the other. And rolling all the way back up to standing. Bringing our feet out wide, coming into a wide-legged stance here, bringing our feet parallel, so toes slightly pointed inwards. Bring our hands to our hips. We're gonna inhale as we lift our chest to the sky, coming into a slight back bend here. And exhale, hinging at the hips, leading with the chest. We're gonna slowly come down into a forward fold. All the way down. When you reach as far as you can, letting your neck hang here. Walking the fingertips in line with our toes, maybe walking them through here. Or if they don't reach, just letting them hang. Finding your pose here. And breathing. Keeping the weight in the front of our feet. We're going to walk our hands over to our left side. So grabbing the ankle or the shin or the foot and just coming into a side stretch here. And walking our fingertips over to the other side. And walking our fingertips back to center, walking them out in front of us, coming into a flat back here. Planting the right hand on the ground and opening up that left side. So bringing the arm up to the sky, pressing into the ground with your hand. Breathing here. And exhale, placing that left hand on the ground this time. And inhaling our right arm up to the sky. Exhale, placing our hand back on the ground. Slowly walking our feet back into each other, coming into that forward fold. And then lowering down onto your knees. However you get there is fine. Keeping our knees together, sinking our hips back, coming into a child's pose with our knees together, letting our chest and our head hang heavy. You can bring your arms down behind you or keep them out in front of you, whatever is comfortable. And take a few breaths here. And rolling up to sit on our heels here. We're gonna walk our fingertips behind our feet, coming into a little quad stretch here. So staying on your fingers, or maybe dropping down to your elbows for a deeper stretch. Maybe rocking your knees back and forth for a nice ankle stretch. Doing whatever feels good in your body. And coming back onto those fingertips, walking them forward. We're gonna come into a frog pose now. So maybe getting a blanket or something to put under your knees if you need to. We're gonna bring our knees wide here. We want our knees to be in line with our hips. So making sure our knees are coming out by our hips and coming down as low as you can, opening up the groin area, and then bringing our lower legs out a little bit, making a 90-degree angle with the knees here, and then staying here. If this feels good, you should already be feeling the stretch here, but if not, coming down onto your forearms or even all the way down to your chest, which is going as far as you can, listening to your body here. If this is too much, just coming back into child's pose. We're staying in front pose, just breathing here. This can be a really intense stretch, so just breathing into that tension. Breathing here for a few more breaths. And slowly making our way down to the ground. So coming down onto your belly. And then bending those knees and dropping them back and forth, coming into a windshield wiper, releasing the hips, the low back here. Placing one cheek onto the ground. And then dropping our legs back down to the ground. We're going to come onto our forearms here, making sure our elbows are right underneath our shoulders. Our forearms and hands are planted into the mat as wide as our shoulder blades. And lifting our chest here, coming into a Sphinx pose. So shoulder, making sure you don't drop into your shoulders, but you're lifting your chest. And bending one knee and then the other. Chin is lifted. And then releasing that and walking our hands back, going onto our knees, and then finding a seated position here. We're going to extend our left leg out in front of us, bringing our right leg, crossing it over the left, placing our right foot on the ground here. Sitting up nice and tall, spine long, shoulders are relaxed. Taking our left hand, wrapping it around the right leg, and placing our right hand behind our hips, coming into a nice twist here. Breathing here. Spine is long. And then releasing that leg, bringing the right leg to the ground and switching sides, taking the left leg, crossing it over the right, planting the left foot into the ground here. Sitting up nice and tall, taking our right arm, wrapping it around our leg, placing the left hand behind our sit bones, and coming into a twist here, looking over that left shoulder. And releasing that leg, bringing our feet out in front of us and just shaking out those legs. So this next pose we're going to come into, there are some variations. So the full pose is a shoelace, so crossing one leg and then bringing the other leg, crossing it on top like this. If this is too much, then releasing the bottom leg and coming back into that same twist, but bringing the top of the foot on the ground this time. So if this is comfortable and you want to go deeper, bringing that bottom leg coming up in here so that our feet are next to our hips here, nice and pulled in. Inhaling, our arms reach up. Exhale, bending over those legs, walking out our hands as best you can. And breathing here, sending the breath to the hips. Rolling back up to a seated position, uncrossing the legs, shaking them out, releasing them, coming onto the other side. So again, coming into the full variation or keeping that bottom leg extended and just folding over one of the legs, or coming deeper into that stretch, bringing the feet close to the hips, trying to stack the knees on top of each other. Both sit bones are planted into the ground as we inhale our arms up over our head, and exhale, fold over those legs. Breathing here. And walking ourselves back up, extending our legs, coming into a wide-legged seated position. Bring your legs out as wide as they can go, planting those sit bones into the ground. Our spine is long here, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, we're going to reach our arms up over our head. And exhale, hinging at the hips, coming down into our forward fold here. And just breathing here, relaxing the head. And then walking over to our left leg, bringing our hands to the shin or the foot, and just relaxing our torso over that left leg. Flexing the toes for a deeper stretch. Bending the knees here if you need to. And walking those fingertips back to the center, walking them all the way over to our other leg. Bring the torso to face that leg, and then releasing here once you get to your point. Finding your variation here. And slowly walking our fingertips back to the center and rolling ourselves all the way back up. Bringing our feet together and then finding our way down to the mat, coming onto our backs. Bringing our knees into our chest and rolling side to side, releasing that tension in our lower backs. And planting those feet into the ground, bringing your heels close to your hips so that you can touch the back of your heels. Planting those feet firmly into the ground, relaxing the upper body. We're going to inhale, coming into a bridge pose. So as we inhale, pressing the feet into the ground to lift our hips, coming onto our shoulders, maybe interlacing the fingers, walking the shoulder blades underneath, really pressing into those feet to lift our hips. Core is engaged here. Inhaling here, squeezing at the top, and exhale, lowering down, bringing the soles of our feet together, letting our knees drop open wide. Bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. And just coming back to our bodies, noticing how they're feeling at this point in your practice. Coming back to that intention. And we're going to bring our feet back to the ground, setting up for another bridge pose. So planting your feet firmly into the ground, inhaling, lifting the hips, walking the shoulder blades under, squeezing at the top here. Remembering to breathe, push through those legs. 4 more breaths. And exhale, coming all the way down, hugging our knees into our chest, rolling back and forth. And coming into one more bridge pose, or if wheel is in your practice, you can come up to wheel, placing your hands next to your ears and lifting up on the inhale, or staying in bridge pose, planting those feet into the ground and lifting our hips. We're coming to bridge pose. So inhaling, we lift up, pressing into those feet, into the hands, lift us higher. Inhaling here, and exhale, tuck the chin slowly, lowering all the way down. Bringing our knees back into our chest, taking our hands and grabbing the outside of our feet, coming into happy baby. So pulling our knees into our armpits, making sure the lower back is planted onto the ground. Maybe rolling side to side here. Playing around, maybe you want to grab the inside of your feet and notice how that feels different, how that feels in your body. And releasing those legs, bringing them back into our chest. Setting up for a plow pose here. So we're going to lift our hips and bring our legs behind our heads, so coming onto the shoulders. So inhale, lifting our hips back and bringing your feet as far back as they can go, using your hand on your back to support that, and just walking your feet out. Maybe just bending your knees, just playing around here in this pose. Keeping the neck long. Core is still engaged here. And if you want, maybe you can find your way up to a shoulder stand, bringing one leg up and then the other, or just keeping your feet behind your head. Using your hands to support your low back. And playing around with your feet here. Core is engaged, lifting through those legs, through the toes. And then slowly lowering all the way back down, vertebrae by vertebrae, lowering all the way down, slowly letting your legs come down to the ground. And just shaking out your body here, rocking your hips back and forth. And we're going to bring our right leg into our chest, squeezing it in. Then we're going to cross it over our bottom leg, coming into eagle legs. So you can either cross your foot behind your shin or just leave it crossed like this. We're going to come into a twist here. So planting that foot on the ground and then just dropping your knees, maybe keeping your legs crossed, opening up that right arm, looking to the right fingertips, and coming into a twist. If this is too much, always uncrossing your knees and just finding a normal twist. But this is if you want a deeper twist. And breathing here. Making sure both of our shoulder blades are still on the ground. And coming back to center, releasing those legs, stretching them out, maybe coming into a full body stretch by reaching the arms up over our head. And coming and setting up to go to the other side. So crossing the left leg over the right leg this time, or just coming into that twist, whatever feels good for you. Extending that left arm, gaze towards the left fingers here. Shoulder blades glued to the ground. And relaxing everything, letting gravity do the work here. And bringing our knees back into the center, unraveling our legs, planting the feet onto the ground, walking them out a little bit. We're just going to drop our knees side to side here, releasing the low back. And then bringing your knees into your chest, hugging your arms around them. We're going to squeeze everything into the center, so hugging really tight, bringing your forehead to your knees, hugging everything in, squeezing everything, contracting really tight into one little ball. And exhale, release everything down to the ground, letting the legs hang heavy, the feet falling to the sides, our arms resting beside our body. Everything relax, letting go, finding our final resting pose, making any last adjustments, getting comfortable in this pose, and then finding stillness, trying not to fidget, closing our eyes here, coming back to our breath, finding the natural rhythm of it. Letting everything feel heavy on the mat. Relaxing every part of your body. So bringing your awareness to each part of your body as I speak it. relaxing it deeply, letting it feel heavy. So relaxing your toes and your feet, your ankles, relaxing your shins and your calf, your knees, relaxing your thighs and your hamstrings, your glutes, your hips, feeling the weight of your lower body, all your muscles relax, relaxing your low belly and your low back, your upper back and your chest, relaxing your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, relaxing your wrists and all your fingers, your neck, your jaw and your tongue, your eyes and your forehead, relaxing all of your head, feeling the weight of the whole body on the ground, deeply relaxed. Slowly beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly waking up the body. Making some circles with your wrists and ankles. Dropping your head from side to side. Maybe even reaching above your head, coming into a full body stretch. And then rolling onto one side, bringing your knees in, resting your head on your arm or the floor. And when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, slowly coming up, finding a comfortable seated position. Placing our hands on our knees. And just taking a second to observe how you're feeling in this moment. Taking a second to thank our bodies for everything it does for us all day long. And thanking yourselves for showing up here today to take the time just for yourself. Bringing our hands together, bringing them to our heart center. I encourage you to bring this feeling of calmness and awareness into the rest of your day, into the rest of the week. Bringing our hands to our third eye center. I acknowledge the light in all of you as it is in within me also. Namaste. Thank you all.